y'all, welcome back. This is Michelle from Michelle's Empty Nest, and boy oh boy has it been a while. I was on vacation for a week. I kind of took the week after to just rest and recuperate and take care of some things at home that needed to be done. I had several days before we left for vacation where I was busy packing and running errands. I had multiple doctor's appointments within that week. I fought with my computer for a few days with editing and getting things uploaded. So it's been a little while. I feel a little out of practice, but I am hoping to just go ahead and jump right in. I did have a few videos that went up while I was gone that I had managed to film before we went on vacation. I had planned to have more filmed and kind of keep me on track, but with everything that was going on, I just did not have time to take care of all of that. So we're going to see what we can do to try to get caught back up. And so we'll be back into my October daily album for 2021, working on prompts 13 and 14. And I will go ahead and apologize. The sun is getting to the point at my window where it may cross my filming area, but I'm going to try to go ahead and get this done without much interference for the sun, because this is the time I have available and I need to take advantage of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and we will get this one done. So let's do it. Okay, I am going to go ahead and get everything out of my little envelope and get my sketch out, which I did probably at least 2 weeks ago by now at this point. But I think I remembered everything fairly well. So this first one was a prompt from Serena B, and it was about selfies. And so I decided I would make it be spooky selfies so that I could use some of my filters, which if you've been around, you know I love Snapchat and Instagram filters a lot. I like to take pictures. I just think they're a lot of fun. So I picked this paper, the black and white. It's kind of more of a grayish, dark gray in person, but it was from, let me think, it was from Tracy Reed's October Mood collection. And so I made that little rectangle with my title in Photoshop, and I picked the color based off a solid paper that she had in that same collection. It looked much more orange on my screen, but when I printed it out, it was more of this red color. My yellow ink was getting a little low, so I changed it out and printed another sheet, and it still came out the same color. So it was just one of those things where my monitor and my printer color just didn't seem to match up. So anyway, that's where the color from the rectangle came, as I color picked it from that solid piece of paper that I'm going to use for the mats for my photos and my journaling. So I had to do a little trim work there after I used my score tape to get that down, and then you saw me use my corner chomper, and I used the 1/2 inch rounder part to round the corners in this Heidi Swap Storyline Chapters album. And then now I'm going to go ahead and put the piece on the other side. There were extra pages, more than what I needed for the 31 prompts. I mentioned that at the beginning of this whole process. So I decided I would just make some of the layouts be double pages, and this was one that I happened to pick to be a double page layout. So I'm going to do a little more trim work here just to get everything nice and neat, and then round those corners again. And then I will distress the edges of all those. It's kind of like a maroony red in person. It's a really pretty color. It's not really the orange I thought, but it ended up probably going with the photos a little better because they all had a little bit of a pinkish tint to them. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and distress the edge of each of the rectangles And then I will adhere the photo just with my roller adhesive, the Kokuyo roller adhesive that I get from Amazon. It's always linked below, with a lot of other things that I use, including all of these digital collections that I've used for my October Daily. And then roller adhesive to put it in place. And then I ended up just going with two more pictures. There were lots and lots of filters, but a lot of them were kind of gory or creepy, and so I just decided to go with the witch filters. And there were really just these three that I spent time finding. There was a fourth one that was a kind of turned me pink and more purple. There was a lot of purple in it, and it just didn't work well. So I decided for the fourth spot in my grid that I'm creating just to use a witch's hat, and that hat was part of the Saheen Designs Witch Please digital collection. So that made my fourth part, including the journaling, and it's just very short and sweet. It just says, I love these filters. I use them in every album almost, and I'll probably continue to use them in every album. And that was really about all that needed to be said for that one. And so once I get that in place, I'm going to turn my attention to day 14 or prompt 14, story 14, whatever we're calling it. And also that hat from Saheen Designs, the band was more of an orange color. So I did color pick and turn the band that same kind of deep red color, just so it wouldn't stand out quite so much. All right, so for this one, this was a spooky event I've attended. So this came from Crystal Idunyate's Halloween prompt list. And excuse me, I decided to do, I used to go to haunted houses when I was younger, but I haven't been to anything like that hardly at all since I've been an adult, with this one exception of when my husband and I in 2013 went to Six Flags Over Georgia to Fright Night or Fright Fest. Well, I forget what they called it, but it's decorated up. There are spooky creatures like that Hunchback of Notre Dame that I'm pretending to kiss in the other photo. I turned it black and white because it just didn't go with everything. And this was a picture of a fountain that had the water looking like blood flowing through the fountain. And we did go to a haunted house. It was scary. There was a man that chased us with a chainsaw coming out at the end. So it was a spooky event, but I really didn't do any journaling about it. I just kind of thought, I put that this is the title. I've got the fact that it was at Six Flags in September of 2013 on this little square piece that I made. And so I just let it go with that. And I did want to create a vellum pocket. So I went in my stash and I found this gold polka dot. It's a gold foil. I just didn't want to do plain vellum. I always do plain vellum. I wanted to do something different. So I'm measuring to see about how far up I wanted it to go based on how tall that title piece is that has the picture of me and the hunchback on the back of it. And then I'm going to cut my vellum and take it over to my sewing machine and stitch it down. And I stitched it down with a black thread because I wanted the thread to kind of stand out and go with all that black in the background. So here I'm just kind of rolling like 2 or 3 little dots of, I couldn't get it to roll trying to make it be as narrow of a piece of adhesive as I was trying to put on there. So I did have to put some paper under there so I could actually roll it and get 2 or 3 little dots along the edge there because I didn't want to, number one, have it show up that much, and then I don't want to run it through my needle because it does gum it up very quickly. So again, I always score tape my papers into the book itself. I just think that's a nice strong adhesive. And so I'm going to get that one put in place. And then you'll see that I tuck in both parts, the larger rectangle and the square. And I did have to do a little trimming. You saw me pull over my little tonic trimmer for that 4x4 about 4x4 square, because I didn't really measure either one of them exactly in Photoshop. I just knew they were close and that I could trim them up once I adhered them together. So that's what I did with my little tonic trimmer, was just get everything um, trimmed down nice and neatly. And I do use my Teflon bone folder to kind of go in the gutter of my album here, just to make sure that tape is having a chance to stick down really well, just to kind of reinforce it and not have the spine of the album be quite so clunky. So then I'm pulling out these numbers that I punched out at the very beginning of this whole process. They were just clear, transparent circles with numbers on them. So I put them onto white cardstock, punched them out with a 3/4 inch punch, and then I run them through my Xyron every time so that they're adhered as well as they can. They have as much adhesive on the back as possible, and it's just very neat and clean that way. And then I'm using these Reset Girl stickers that I've had forever, the circles, to back it up with. And this one you can't see very well. It's a light orange print. It kind of matched in with the other oranges there, and so that's what I went with this one. And that's going to finish me up for this video, and so I'll be back here to talk to you in just a second. Okay, that's where I'm going to call these two layouts done. So I stuck with my formula of using this font. I think it's Always in My Heart, for my titles, and just kind of doing my titles in Photoshop, so I'm not having to stamp or add extra stickers and things like that to do titles, so it's a little less bulky, and I'm enjoying that, having that as a consistent thing throughout my album. And then switching back to the American Typewriter font for any journaling or anything like that. So I like how this one came together. It's a little off balance over here, but we're going with it. We are just going to roll with it. And there were lots of selfies that I could have done, or lots of filters that I could have done as selfies. A lot of them were a little more on the gory, scary side. So I just decided to stick with a few witch filters and go with those. And then this one, I was originally just thinking I would put plain vellum, but I decided I would just dig into my stash and see what else I could find. Most of my vellum and acetate has gold on it, like gold glitter hearts, or bigger polka dots, or small dots, or stars. I don't really have much that's not gold and either vellum or acetate. And then I have a lot of different just plain sheets of vellum that you get like 8.5 by 11 from Amazon. So I need to maybe try to find some different colors or styles of vellum or acetate. So if you have a good place where you know to get some different colors of vellum or acetate, whether it's 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, I would love to hear your source and have something that maybe I can go and check out. So I appreciate you stopping by so much today. It means more to me than you will ever know. And I think we beat the sun. I don't think there was any glare from that, so that's good. It's coming soon, though. It's getting right up overhead over my window. So if you enjoyed this video, I would love a thumbs up down below. And also, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that and become a part of my little YouTube family. I'd also love a follow over on Instagram, where I share a lot more in process things that don't have process videos, a lot of inspirational things in my stories and kind of behind the scenes. So I'd love for you to follow me over there as well. There will be close-ups at the end of the video, as well as over on Instagram as always. And until I see you in the next video, take care of yourself, do something good for yourself. Bye-bye.